Open the green room.
The green room is open.
It's open.
It's arrived.
That's right. You are in the green room right now, or maybe about to be in the green room if you're not in it yet.
Coming into the green room.
Yeah.
Okay. I will retweet it.
Oh yeah, I never retweet.
Would be helpful.
Good at this whole Twitter thing, guys. You might not know that about me. How was everyone's day, evening? We doing all right over here?
I feel like I watched more of the Eric show last night. It's very good. I would highly recommend.
Yeah. I was so proud of you for the movies.
You're not a TV guy.
Dumb TV shows. Severance, that's the only TV show.
I just can't get into Severance. Yeah. It's not my cup of tea.
It's a shame for you.
I know. It just feels like it's just not for me.
Yeah,
not for me.
Love it.
It is dense. I do watch it, but it is a lot.
It's like
I watch Shrinking on Apple TV. You're looking for something lighter.
I've heard good things about it. Yeah,
I watched
probably the best performance of Harrison Ford's career.
I think undoubtedly.
Wow, that's saying something considering it.
I've never seen it.
I was just trying to get a rise out of him.
I said I'd never seen it. What do you think I was?
Well, no, I thought maybe you'd read it or heard it.
No.
Okay,
I don't do that. I you know me. I do not like to speak from ignorance. I will. Yes. I will just say I haven't seen it yet. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
I watched the first part of that season. And I thought it was good, but I never picked it back up. But it was good. It's usually with Jason Segel and yeah. Very good.
Cool. All right. Well, there we go.
There
we 25?
Day 25.
Shady
Is it
day?
25? Yeah, it's got to be shady.
Yeah. We can think of other ones too. I can't think off the top of my head.
I'm not.
Do you know who had it before him? I pulled up the list of number 25s.
Well, let's do this on
fascinating.
Yeah, let's do it on the podcast.
I don't remember any, so that's fine. Ready? Hi, everyone. Okay. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. Day 25.
What did we get to last time? It kind of feels like we didn't.
We're going higher this time.
We definitely
feels
are.
Like we started a week earlier because we're going to end it. I did the math. We're going to end at 35. The Super Bowl Sunday.
I think we ended at 28 last time.
Super Bowl Sunday will be day 35 for us. By the way,
I was about to say,
check us out 10 to 12 on WIP.
Super Bowl Sunday.
No big deal.
Yes, we need all the real ones to call in.
Show.
Yeah, we need.
It's like the most important show.
The show just won't be callers 20, but like we just want caller after caller after.
Yeah,
like all the real ones,
Yep.
Exactly. And it's not even predictions at that point. It's just
it's hype show.
Yeah, just go crazy.
Yeah. It was built for hype shows.
Yeah, you were.
It's literally like my.
I mean, the Go Birds is the perfect show to have.
Yeah, I mean, they could just put us on a
the
loop
day of. Yeah, just replay it the whole time.
That's what people want right now. I mean, let's be honest.
I wonder if last time we didn't do the bye week. Maybe that's why.
You want to know how many you got?
Must be. Yeah,
I think we got to 28 last time.
You got to 20.
20 last.
What? Are you sure about this?
I just looked it up.
Oh, I wonder if we didn't include the weekends. We didn't include the weekends.
Super Bowl run day 19.
That's what we did.
And then the next day, Super Bowl run, the final live.
So that means we did 28 because there was four weekends in there. Yeah,
right. So we'll do more this time.
Oh yeah.
So it must be because of the
bye week.
Yeah, maybe we didn't do the bye.
Maybe we didn't do the bye. No, but why wouldn't we do the bye? We might not. Oh. You mean the original bye?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They had a bye last time.
They had a bye last time.
That's what it is. We didn't start till Giants week.
Yeah, I would think that's it, but
it's the only thing that makes most sense.
Yeah.
Either way, record.
Yeah.
Coming.
Day 38. That'll be a hard number.
Well, 35. We're ending at 35.
We're ending 35.
Yeah,
okay.
The 30 though, it is tough though. Like 35.
30s are a tough one. 33 is pretty.
Good.
So I heard
25. Real quick, we got to name it.
I mean, it's
the shady show.
It's a retired number.
Especially because he has become like the go-to former Eagles fan person out there.
Dude,
like,
his career is really taken off.
He's actually really good.
I think he's good.
I think he's
very good. Yeah.
But I love that this whole year he's just been like, F all y'all. The Eagles are winning and we're awesome and let's go. I've been like,
although
lead the way.
There was like 2 days where he said something negative about Jalen and everyone was mad about him. But he jumped back in.
Yeah.
I heard on the morning show when I was driving in, the person that wants to name their kid after Cooper DeJean.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a thought on it.
Good. Okay, so for people who did not hear the morning show, we do live advice with the Hammer, which is often just Joe giving bad advice. And the question was...
Or no advice.
Or no advice, as the case was today. You're correct. The question was, we're about to have a baby boy. What can I do to get my wife to let me name him Cooper after Cooper DeJean?
So I think Cooper's an awesome name.
I do too.
Coop,
Coop
100%.
Is so strong. Like, call me Coop. I don't care.
I agree. Great. I think Cooper's an awesome name. So I'm good with the name. I just think it's a little early to name after Cooper DeJean. Like if you're gonna pick a player,
look, we're gonna talk about Carson Wentz in a minute. Like,
Yeah,
none
exactly.
Of my kids named Carson around here. He was here for a hot
right.
second.
And like, I mean, look, I think Cooper is going to have an awesome career. He's not a quarterback where in the way like he could really turn, but like he's only been here a year.
This is 1 year. He hasn't even played the full season.
I think if you're naming your kid after an Eagle right now, you want to know what? Are ready?
Hold on. No, hold on. Let me stop for a second and think. So I like the name Graham a lot. I think it's a great name. My best friend named his kid.
I agree
one
with
of his
that.
2 kids Graham. So Graham would be something that would stick, especially because I like the inversion of it.
Right.
Oh, it's named after Brandon Graham instead of Brandon.
Yeah. No, I think it's creative.
I like that. So that was the first one that popped in my head. What do you got? I mean, Quinyon, obviously. No?
AJ.
Yeah.
He's arguably the best receiver to ever play for the team.
I just
like he'll have been to 2 Super Bowls. Like
I just don't think you name your kid in initials. Like you have to name him Andrew John or something, and then you
can
call
that's
him
fine.
AJ
that's
or
fine.
whatever.
If you want to say that. But I think AJ is a great name, first of all.
AJ's good. So no offense, AJ Brown, who's amazing. And by the way, the video of LeBron and him is just wild. Well, like how much bigger does LeBron look? He makes him look like a child.
Well, and also the video of Maxey and AJ.
Yeah.
And Maxey's bigger than AJ.
It's so
like
weird,
it just
right?
does put it into perspective because you think of Maxey as so small.
So no offense to him, like AJ is a kid's name. You know what I mean? Like I think a cool name, have your kid name AJ, stuff like adults who go by AJ, no offense. It's a little like kid's name.
So this is a take I would have, but
you know what I mean?
I don't fully agree. I get where you're going.
You have like that can be great, versatile, right? Like William. Okay, you can be Billy when you're young, you can be Bill when you're older, William when you're older, whatever. Will, like there's so many different variations on it. I feel like AJ is like if you're an AJ, you're AJ, and then when you grow up, you're Andrew or you're Alex or whatever your name is. You know.
I don't fully agree, but I see where you're going with it. But I think it's I don't think of it. Graham's a good name. Graham's a good one.
So, but I think Cooper's a great name too. Like I would.
I just think it's too early for Cooper.
Totally. Also, just think about. Imagine you're Cooper Jean. You're 22 years old,
dude. Let me tell you.
You first of all, you look more like a child than anyone I've ever rooted for in my life.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Like no one. I already feel old. I just saw that Tom Brady, when he won his last Super Bowl, was like 3 months older than I am right now, and I'm like,
wild.
Wow. I'm really about to get past the precipice of any athlete ever having anything done at my age. But imagine 22 years old and people name your kids after you and stuff like how weird must that be?
Obviously, Brandon Graham gets
I named my kid after you. What?
Yeah. So obviously, Brandon Graham gets like a crazy reaction every time he does a players' lounge at Chickies. Like it's wild. But Tucker can attest to this too. When Cooper DeJean comes to Chickies for the players' lounge,
man,
it is a different level of craziness. Like I sit next to Cooper. It's like Ike, Cooper, me, then Hugh. I've never had so many cell phones pointed at me. Like it was like
wild.
A little like this is what I'd imagine the paparazzi feels like. But he's also like crazy grounded. Like he seems like obviously we don't know him super well, but he seems like a really like good grounded guy.
Yeah, it was a tough moment for him with the LeBron thing.
I know where he pulled the hand out. That's what I was gonna say.
I felt bad for him.
Yeah,
man. I mean, this guy's in the NFL. LeBron, come on.
Yeah, I think he's
do better, LeBron.
But I will say, to your point, he doesn't look like he's so
he
young
like
looking.
He
exactly,
like he could be there as their kid.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. So I could see why he wouldn't be like, oh, that's Cooper DeJean.
Totally. I don't blame LeBron for not knowing.
Although Cooper might be a top 5 famous Eagle.
No.
Well, let's think about it. So Jalen, AJ, Saquon.
Yeah, without a doubt, are all more.
Mylata.
I think Lane Johnson and Brandon Graham, just because they've been around so
good point.
long,
Yeah,
and they like those guys have played in 2 Super Bowls and won one. Think about the amount of people who watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Brandon Graham made the biggest play in a Super Bowl.
So
so I don't think so, but I get your point. I think Cooper is the most popular young guy we've had in a little while.
Well, and I know this isn't the best way to do it, but when you look up like Eagles
Twitter followers,
well, just look up Eagles roster. They like list the players at the top, and like Cooper's 4th. Crazy. So I mean, it could just be off recent searches. Who knows? But it's just crazy.
The fact that means
exactly
and stuff like that.
Kenny Pickett's 6, what kind of ruins.
So yeah, kind of
yeah.
Regardless, so I agree. He like I think more people talk about Cooper than Quinyon, and Quinyon has obviously been the better player. You know, so they're both great.
Yeah.
Quinyon is
agreed. He's played all year. He plays outside.
Remember as an Eagle. So
would you? Well, let's do this, and I have a Cooper.
Okay.
Question.
Look at the page I opened up to. Prime time, baby.
There you go.
That's the title for it.
That could be Quinyon's nickname.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Ready? Has there ever been a Quinn?
I was going to say. I feel like it'd be fresh.
I think that could be fresh and new. Good call. Okay. How funny it would be Shadur comes into the league and like going up against Cooper. It's like, oh, that's prime time over there. It's like, what?
That would yeah, exactly. You don't target prime time.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Inner excellence. Jim Murphy. Prime time. Your environment The things around you that your senses engage with each day has a major impact on your state from which your behavior is generated. Your environment is also crucial to developing emotional control. Without your conscious awareness, the seemingly insignificant events and people you encounter every day impact what you think and feel, and therefore how you act. Yeah, another truism from Jim.
Yeah,
I feel like
not really sure I get
like,
it. Like he's saying who you're around impacts you.
your environment impacts you. I am starting to think that I could write this book.
Well, it's just self-advice book.
It's just platitudes. Like, it's just like your environment impacts you. Yep.
So I guess
Cool.
I guess what it is though, like
man.
maybe it's like a
really
reminder to like make
there's
sure.
obviously more to it,
Yeah,
but I will say, like, he does. It feels like a book where he's just saying something obvious, but putting his own little kind of flair to it.
Yeah, I mean the environment thing. I'm trying to think about that.
Of course, your environment impacts you. Absolutely, it does. Of course.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think like, make sure you put yourself in the right environment. Like, I feel like growing up, I was always pretty good about putting myself in the right environment. I never like put myself in a ton of bad situations. Obviously, everyone has like, 5 or 6
moments.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say in general, I feel like I've always been pretty good at that.
Look at you.
Just, trying to
Good
identify.
for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a crazy environment next week.
There you go. Yeah, nailed it.
So here's a question.
What a segue that was.
Here's a question I had for you.
Okay.
So let's assume Darius Slay's gone next year. And I don't think it's like a lock, but I think it's a pretty good chance.
Likely. I mean, he's even talking.
I think the only way he would return, I don't even think he'd return because A, I don't think money is going to be the issue, but B, I don't know if he'd come here and be a backup. And like would you move Cooper to the outside?
Yes.
Definitely.
I mean, look, it depends on if they believe he can play out there.
Right.
But I would have Quinion and Cooper as my outside corners and move forward if I thought he could succeed.
So
out there.
I
know he's great in the nickel too, and that's a great spot. Like if you wanted to tell me Slay wants to come back, I believe he's got a year and left in him. Let's keep Cooper in the slot for now. Like I'd be fine with that too. Like I'm not saying but if you're asking me, ideally, you draft a guy in the second round, you want him to be an outside corner.
So I think I agree with the premise of like an outside corner is more valuable than a nickel corner. But nickel corners play like 95% of the game.
Again,
he's
that's
awesome
why I was
at
like,
it.
I wouldn't be like upset about
Right.
it. Like if he's a nickel corner his whole career and the best in the league at it, like that's a super valuable player. Like, but ideally he can play outside.
Where I was thinking is I do like the trio of Isaiah Rodgers, Cooper DeJean, and Quinion. Like young, and I think Isaiah can't play the inside. You would put him on the outside. So if Slay doesn't come back and they re-sign Isaiah, I think I would be pretty interested in like those trios.
Yeah, how about this? Put the best 3 players in the best positions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want, if Cooper DeJean's better on the outside with someone else in there and that's a better lineup, great. If Cooper's in the inside and someone else outside's better, do that.
Yeah.
Like I really don't, whatever's best for the football.
He just seems awesome in his current role.
Sure. But we've never seen him on the outside.
No, I know. Yeah.
Freaking would be like, wow,
right.
It's Quinion and him. We're shut it down. We win every
And
game.
there could be like an adjustment period. Yeah. I think his physicality works out nicely for the slot.
Sure. It also works on the outside.
Yeah.
But I get your point. All right, let's get to Carson Wentz because we have not really addressed the fact that, and look, Mahomes never comes out of games, so like, ain't gonna happen.
Although he is always close to coming out of games.
We all remember last Super Bowl, yes. Yeah. But look, just even Carson standing on the sideline,
he's gonna be at media night.
He's gonna be at media night. Where are you at with the whole Carson Wentz thing? Is like look, this is what happens on day, 25. We start to get to the Carson Wentz topic, but it is a thing. Like he was a big part of this city for a hot minute there. We just talked about. I guarantee you, there are kids named Carson all around the Delaware. Tons of animals. I've met like 8 dogs named Carson over the years. Like, where are you at with Carson today?
So I think my opinion on Carson has definitely changed for the better since he left. Like I feel
you were a hater.
Well, I was correct. Like, but so
proven correct.
Here was like when I think about Carson's time with the Eagles, like I feel like when he left, I thought that was pretty messed up to demand your way out. Like they had just given you the contract. I know they drafted Jalen, but like so to demand out, I thought was a pretty weak move. But I also think that looking at his time here, I was a pretty big like, why aren't they winning with Carson? I think it puts into perspective how much they win with Jalen. But one thing I definitely underestimated at the time and was probably unfair about was he really didn't have a lot to work with in 18, 19, 20. Like, you look at the talent Jalen has, and I don't think it diminishes what Jalen's
Well, I think
done.
it's part of the reason they've put so much talent around Jalen Woods because they learned from the experience with Carson.
Right. So I just think when I was critical of Carson when he was here for those years, like, he really didn't have a lot to work with, and I think that mattered. I also think looking back at Carson's career, the injuries were such a big like, it's a shame, but when I think of Carson's time with the Eagles, the first thing I think of is injuries.
Sure.
Like, the ACL, the
I don't
back,
think
the
there's any
concussion.
question.
Yeah, and I think he could have been such a great player here, but it's just a shame to think of how it played out. But when he left, there was definitely a part of me that was like, "Man, that's a weak move to, like." But now, like, a few years later, like, I get it. I get why he did it. And I don't, like, I don't view Carson in a negative light, really. I don't know if other people do, like, what the consensus is, but
I've always been consistent. I've said the same thing always about, and I hated the way he left and all that, but like the guy was a major part of me winning my first Super Bowl. Like that is how I look at Carson's legacy here. Like Carson Wentz, we don't win the Super Bowl without Carson Wentz setting the team up and getting that 1 seed and all that. Like, so like I hated the way he left. I thought the way he carried himself the last couple years here.
I agree with that.
Lack of accountability, it's not my fault. It's just what's gonna happen, like all that type of stuff. Like I hated it. Like I thought it was weak.
Well, it
I
also sounds like he was maybe not the best teammate.
Yeah,
like there's been
again, all the stuff we heard, all of it. Like I hated it, and I don't think I never like in hindsight. The question of would they have won the Super Bowl if Carson didn't get hurt? Like I changed my opinion on that. Like I don't know that they would have won the Super Bowl, Carson. I don't know about his mental makeup long term. Like I don't know. Especially with the first time he hit a sign of adversity, just all falls apart and he's never the same guy. And I think injuries were a big part of it.
Yeah.
But mentally, the way he went about his business, I didn't like it. I didn't like him forcing himself out of town. I didn't like any of that. So like, I didn't like any of that stuff. But I could step back and say the guy played a major role in me winning a Super Bowl. And thus, I think the pick was a success. And I think his legacy here should be he helped you win your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like that I think it's so black and white for me.
So the question of like, would they have won with him, I think is so interesting. It's a great hypothetical.
And I do think that it used to be something where every single Eagles fan for a while would have been like, yeah, we would have won with Carson. And I think that's changed over time.
So I am confident they would have won. Like in the way the counter is Foles played one of the best games ever. So you just never know. But I think the game also plays out differently if it's Carson.
Who knows?
Yeah. But I just think the injury to Carson and the Foles thing just ruined him. Like you have to remember, not you, but like in general, how Carson was viewed and the player he was prior to that injury versus what he almost immediately became. Like when Carson went down, like there was no doubt in my mind. Like they were going to win the Super Bowl. He's a top 5 quarterback. I said at the time, there is not a single collection of picks and players I would have traded Carson for at that moment.
I remember.
He was that guy, right? So I agree, like looking back now and what we've seen him become, of course, I like the 41-33 Foles being as amazing as he was. Like maybe they don't run the Philly special. Like who knows how different it ends up. But I think like the prior version of Carson, I think they would have won the Super Bowl. And I also think that like, I really hope Carson mends his relationship with like the players. And I'm not saying they have like a definite bad one, but like there will be the 10-year anniversary of the
coming up
is not that far away. And Carson very well could be out of the league at that point. Like it's not crazy to think. So although prior to the Denver game, I remember everyone like he could be the next reclamation project. Didn't go so hot. So I mean, Carson could legit be out of the league next year. But I hope when the 2017 team like comes back together, I understand why he wouldn't want to, but it started, I think, the further away it's gotten with Carson, it started to make me feel more sad about like that he probably looks at his Super Bowl ring and like, doesn't like to look at it, or probably the idea of even going into Philadelphia. And it also probably has to suck a little for Carson that he's back in the Super Bowl. And now, of course, it's the Eagles on the other side.
And he's a backup.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I get all that. And I agree with you. I think it's sad. And I wish that Carson can look at it differently. But I do think that's on Carson, man. Like, I think Carson, and he had it in the moment. Like, him on the podium, like, being like, what did he say? Like, that's going to be me or whatever. It's like,
I don't remember this.
It was something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, and I understand, that was a devastating injury. You're the best team in the league.
And a devastating
moment, the whole thing. But like, you got to be able to get past that and get on board with the fact that Nick Foles is the quarterback of the team now moving forward. Whatever happens, like, that's awesome. And you should be ecstatic that you won a freaking Super Bowl and that you got to play a role in it. Like Jason Peters, you didn't see that guy out there sobbing about us winning the Super Bowl, did you? Oh, I didn't get to be a part of it. No, Jason Peters is out there coaching guys up and being awesome and having a cigar in his mouth after and after. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all about perspective and mentality. And I am disappointed that Carson looked at it that way. And I would be disappointed if Carson looks at his Super Bowl ring and doesn't think of what he did to contribute to that happening rather than just thinking about not playing in the game itself. So there are a lot of Jason Peters is an example of many guys throughout many years who have been great players who've gotten hurt on a team that would go on to win the Super Bowl, and they had to watch from the sidelines and they had to wrestle with that. But you know, that's part of the game.
So I do think there's a difference with the quarterback.
A little,
you know, like
a little difference, but like Jason Peters at that point, like all-time veteran, a Hall of Famer, like all that. So like it is a little different, but I don't think it's that different.
And I agree with you that you would have wanted him to handle it better than it seems he handled it. I agree, but I also do think it was an extremely hard thing to deal with.
And that's why I'm not saying like in the moment, I'm talking about now. I agree with you. Like it's over. And I wish he'd handled it differently. He didn't. It is what it is.
I'm sure he does too.
Like I said, my opinion of him is he helped me win a Super Bowl. I'm so grateful.
Right.
But I hope my point was it's on him to get over that mental hurdle.
Yeah.
So that when he looks at his Super Bowl ring, I believe he should look at that Super Bowl ring and say, I played a major role in this happening, instead of looking at it and being like, well, I didn't play in the game.
Yeah, I hope he can.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think that I agree. I think it'd be very hard to do. Yeah.
I know, but that is, I believe, the right way to look at it.
And I hope that he can. Like, it also to think like he probably, just even like doesn't want to come into Philadelphia. Like, it's got to be a really traumatic thing for him. I also think that,
and he was a baby on the way out. You know, he really was. He forced him to one team. Like, only Howie's brilliance was able to get something of note back.
I think how he handled it at the end was selfish. And I think you could argue it was like at certain points in players' career they have to be selfish, but it was definitely
his legacy.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll be curious to see on media night. Like, I'm gonna go talk to him.
You
like,
have to.
Like, what does he say? Like,
we were texting with someone and they said it'll be by far the biggest scrum for was it you, Tucker? The biggest scrum for a backup quarterback in NFL Super Bowl history. Like, outside of his backup, like Foles starting.
Right.
Like that, like by far. Like, I can't even imagine another scenario where a backup quarterback in a Super Bowl, because the whole Eagles contingent is going to be like, hey, Carson.
Yeah, and like also what really, like, Travis Kelsey is going to be at a podium. Like, there's by the way, Marlon Tuipulotu is on the Chiefs as random.
Is he really?
Yeah. Like, which is crazy.
Nice
Yeah. But it was just when I was going over the roster, it was a crazy name to see. But my point is, I don't think there's going to be a big circle around Marlon.
No, I don't think so.
So it'll be Carson. And this was really the first time.
Yeah, he hasn't talked to him. Remember that?
I mean, I guess he was on Washington, so there was a chance there, but it's just not the same. Like, he was the starter there. I feel like this will be.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like Eagles reporters are going to go down to Washington.
Exactly.
You're there.
And no Chiefs reporters are going to talk to him, I would imagine.
Why would they? They talk to him all the time.
Yeah. I think this will be like his first like real chance to address it all, especially with the benefit of perspective. Yeah. Like, so I'm like, I normally stay for the other team's media night anyway, just because I'm there. But like, but I'm like excited to see what Carson has to say. Yeah. And I'm like a little excited to see him, like, just see like how he reacts to seeing the Philly media. I think it was an ugly situation. And it's probably one of the first like super ugly situations where it's like, now we can look at it the benefit of hindsight. Mm-hmm. And like, there's been time. And so I'm excited to see how he deals with it.
Yeah, I agree. The Andy thing, we had talked inside baseball, behind the dugout, as Ellie would say. We had talked like, should we do some sort of Andy topic? And I said to you guys, I'm like, I honestly don't really, because figure swing from Wentz to Andy, the former Eagle thing, like, I don't really have that with Andy. Like, not like, thank you, Andy, whatever. Like, when I look at this Super Bowl, Andy Reid's the Chiefs coach. Like, for the first time, like the last Super Bowl we did it. Former Eagles, like, I'm done with that. Like, Andy Reid is, whether we like it or not, will always be remembered as the Kansas City Chiefs coach.
Yeah.
It is a forgotten thing, practically, other than for us, that he was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles for as long as he was. Like, it'll get mentioned, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, like, I have, like, I appreciate what you did here, Andy. Played a big role in setting this up. Like, we don't want a Super Bowl probably without what he did and all that stuff. But, like, at the same time, like, I've moved on from Andy Reid. Like, Andy Reid is the Chiefs coach. He is the enemy this week, and I want to beat his ass. Like, that's all I got.
So I feel that same way too. Like in 2022, and I'd be curious to go back and listen to how we said it. But I remember we did We did the Andy Reid Appreciation Day, which maybe wasn't
No, that was in 2022. That
No,
was the year before when they were in
2021,
the
right?
Super Bowl. Yep.
And I mean, there
We would definitely not have done Andy Reid Appreciation Day
Yeah,
before the Eagles
exactly.
played him in the
Right.
Super Bowl. That would have been Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Spike might have gotten fired on the spot. if they tried to do that.
I don't think Spike was here in 22.
What do you mean? It was in 21. Spike.
Yeah. Oh,
Reid
yeah.
Appreciation
It was
Day.
2019.
Yeah. It was 2019. It was even
their first
further
Super
then.
Bowl.
All
Okay,
right, so
yeah.
either way, whatever it was.
And
you're right. Spike was gone by 2022, but I was
Yeah.
yeah.
At the time, and that's now a long time ago, but like I was like, he's definitively an Eagles coach still. Like, but you're right. Like at this point, he is a Chief. Like,
By far.
it's just
Like,
it is what it is.
Question.
But I think the other part of it is, I think this team has passed the early 2000s teams for me in terms of like the golden age of Eagles
I think
football.
so too.
So I think the reason,
Again, 3 Super Bowls in 7 years,
Yeah.
including a win. Like,
or even I was just more thinking this core of 2 and
this
3.
group right
Yeah,
now, but I think you have to say the non-Andy years have in terms of accomplishment have surpassed the Andy years.
Yes. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, 3 Super Bowls versus
That's
1.
what I mean.
That's
They
it.
have
yeah.
and a win. Like
Exactly.
It is. It's
yeah, without
over.
question. Yeah.
Should we say the Howie years?
Maybe. But
That's fair.
I always thought of the golden age of like Andy and the Eagles in my
we
mind
all did.
was 2000 to 2004. Like the 4 straight
First run,
champions.
and then they had the Arizona thing, but like that first run, the 4 straight.
That was the golden, like
Yeah.
they were one of the best teams in the league every week. I think this team for me has surpassed them now that they've made a second Super Bowl. And I also think this team's just more talented than the early 2000s were. So when we did it in 2019 and when like he was just kind of starting to win these with the Chiefs, I do think there was a legitimate argument like, no, he's an Eagle. That's where he is that the expression, cut his teeth, right? That's where he like, but I think now he's definitely a Chief. Like
his bones.
Like he will be, I agree that outside of a small portion of general NFL fans, and this week it'll be talked about more because they're playing the Eagles. But if he was playing Washington, nobody would talk about he's a former Eagles coach, right? Like, so I agree that he's past it at that point.
Yeah. All right.
You know what's funny? I think Nick Sirianni, you know, we talk about he's so similar to you. You know what Nick's not good at? Expressions. He messes them up quite a bit. Or he'll start to say it and then he'll question them. Like it's similar to me. Like I can't think of one he did recently, but he said
like
something.
There's 2 ways it's gonna cat.
Yeah, exactly. Like he'll start to do it.
He fumbles them.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's not
that's
confident
funny.
when he says them. I've noticed it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
He has gotten to be such a great speaker, though. I mean,
dude, did you watch the
unbelievable, man.
Did you watch the I can't think of the name of it. What's the weekly video they do? The Eagles do. It's like unfiltered or unscripted. Unscripted. First of all, unscripted that the Eagles do is better than any Hard Knocks I've ever seen. Like the Eagles fans are so lucky that Eagles do that. The behind the scenes,
they're amazing with all.
It's crazy.
Stuff.
So
I used to work for.
It's unbelievable. It's like
they do such
award-winning
awesome
quality,
job.
like the directing, the scenes, the music. So did you watch this past week's?
No.
It's like 10 minutes. Okay, dude, Nick's speech to the team is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, so what he does is they all sit down and he tells them all to close their eyes. And he's like, I don't even want to do it because I don't want to ruin it. But he was like, think of the best moment you had in a football field. Like, think of what you wore. Think of who was in the crowd cheering for you. Think of the time in the game. Think of the play. And then like, it was just like, it was crazy. Like we mock the whole, like what, not us, but the whole, like, what does he do thing?
Yeah.
But when you watch that team meeting, I think it really hits home what an important job it is to be the one that sets the tone for the team and sets the message for the team. And he is so good at it. Like he is just so good at it.
I agree. I mean, we've had many, like Kelsey taught best motivational coach in meeting anyway. I'm happy you brought up the what does he do here thing though, because I had an awesome suggestion. Shout out to Matt, listener, brother-in-law, my buddy Dom Wynn. Shout out to Dom Wynn. Matt sent me this when we were talking about what should Nick say on the podium.
Right.
The whole thing. He said, inspired by last pod, envisioning Nick on the podium, quote unquote, Nick goes, someone once asked me what I do here. Holds up the Lombardi trophy.
This. I said
this is what we do here.
I like that. I feel like I said that a week ago, didn't I? The we thing I didn't, but I definitely like, what do I do and hold it up? Yeah, that would be an all-time moment. Like all time. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So I have a story you'll like, and I want to tell it. And I don't know where the message went in my phone. I can't find it. So a real one, an auto downloader, met him at Chickies. Great guy. So in 2017, I believe it was his friend, had a Brian Westbrook jersey that he would wear all the time. And he wore it all the way to the Super Bowl and they won it. And then he stopped wearing it after 2017 or something like that. This guy, no one's worn the jersey since 2017. And then coincidentally, this guy like found it, or I don't know what happened, but he put it on at the start of this playoff run and now he's wearing it every day, and obviously haven't lost. And he's carrying it with him everywhere he goes. He had it with Chickies.
Love this.
Like I wish I could
brought it with him to Chickies.
He had it at Chickies. Yeah, dude. Like,
great work, buddy.
Honestly, this sounds like, you know what? You won't appreciate this, or you won't know it. But they made a Hallmark movie this year about.
I was wondering why he was sure I wouldn't appreciate it. You're right.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
I was thinking of Omar Epps carrying the ball around the program everywhere he goes. Anyway,
Tucker might. I mean, Tucker might appreciate it.
You all Hallmark fan?
No, not
okay.
really.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you, Tucker, for being an.
All right, fair enough. I feel like you and Emily definitely not Hallmark, right? I feel like
what's funny.
I feel like Mary would be a Hallmark.
She is.
Yeah,
She is
exactly.
like a Hallmark person.
The funniest thing, and I'm not at all, but like you would have way more luck getting me to watch a Hallmark movie than Emily. Emily,
you guys are missing
like
out.
0% chance. Like she is like Emily doesn't even like rom-coms. Like
right.
I'm the one of us who likes rom-coms. I like romance. Emily's like, that's true. Emily's movie. She'll watch good movies and stuff, but like for the most part, if a 14-year-old boy is gonna like the movie,
right,
Emily's gonna like it too. Action, D and F jokes, if you know what I'm saying. I could say fart.
Oh, I see.
D and fart joke, like
right,
all that kind of stuff. That is like Emily's wheelhouse. Like she doesn't like. She's a 14-year-old boy.
That's
when it comes
funny.
to movies. It's very funny.
So Hallmark made a Christmas movie this year about the Chiefs, and in it, there's like a lucky hat this family has.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they wear it and they win the Super Bowl, whatever. I think this jersey combats, because I'll tell you this, I bet you there'll be a Hallmark like hat thing at the Super Bowl. Like, you know, like they'll like, I'm like a media night or whatever. This jersey, I think, combats the lucky hat.
Okay. I didn't know there was is this a Travis Kelsey, Donna Kelsey?
So you could tell they were basing it off of them, but
Is this the one where they said the wide receiver's a 9-time MVP?
I don't remember that, but maybe yeah.
I saw
funny.
a clip on Twitter.
That
like a girl was like explaining who it is, and he's like, "Greatest football player ever." He's a 9-time MVP as a wide receiver.
So that's pretty funny. I feel like that's not though, because they use real Chiefs players' names, but that is really funny if
that's
they
great.
did. That's like
That's
someone
really
who wrote it clearly, a 9-time MVP.
A 9 times, like
it's like that
tell
swimming
me you don't
coach.
Know anything about football, eh?
But you could tell they wanted to like address the Kelsey and Taylor Swift thing, but didn't really bring it up. Oh, we didn't talk about that. We could do it maybe tomorrow, but the who Kelsey should root for.
Do you want to do it real quick or you want to save it for tomorrow? Oh, we got BLG tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll do it now.
Okay. I'm fine with what Jason's doing. Like, honestly, like, I think so. For those,
what did he say? Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
For those who didn't see it, Jason was just on with the morning show with us, and he said basically, like, said, I can't choose. Like, he basically said, I have so many friends in this Eagles organization who are like family to me, and I care so much about all these people. I've spent time there. Obviously, I'm an Eagle. I'm from here. I live here. So he's like, I want the Eagles to win, but he's like, but it's my brother.
Yeah.
He's like, it's my brother. He's like, so the best way I can put it is I feel like it's going to be a lot like it was for my mom when Travis and I played.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm going to be happy for some guys on this side and sad for some people on this side. And like, that's just the way I have to do it. And you know what? Respect, dude.
Yeah.
Like, look, I get it. I've seen a fair amount of people being like, you have to root for the Eagles. Like, knuckle draggers. Like, rein it the hell in. Are you serious? It's his brother.
Yeah, that's where I fall.
Okay, and I know his brother's got a 3 already, and you can be like, well, we deserve it more. Like, dude, it's his brother. Like, stop this. Like,
I agree.
It's family. Like, this is crazy
to
me. Like, so I think deep down, Jason will be happy if the Eagles win because his brother, I'm sure, he'll be sad for his brother, but he'll be happy that the Eagles won. But like, leave the guy alone.
Yeah.
Man, like, seriously, like the amount of, I actually got tweets during the show where it was like, you're not a real Eagle. Like, go bleep yourself if you're thinking that way. Honestly, like it bothers me.
So that's where I fall with it. I think the way he explained it is probably exactly how he does feel, right? Like, I think
he was just
you absolutely see both sides.
Man.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's okay just to say I'm rooting for the Chiefs. Like, that would be okay.
It
is his brother.
I actually appreciate that. He's like, I'm rooting for both.
And I think there's an honest truth to that.
Like, yeah, exactly. Totally.
Yeah. So I think it's easy for us all to say what we would do. It's such an incredibly unique situation. Like,
all time.
I mean, he's probably the only person to ever deal with it.
He's the only person ever deal with it.
Yeah. So it's literally the only person in the world that's ever had to think about what you would do here.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's fine. Like, it's the same way I feel about the Taylor Swift thing. Like, look.
Yeah.
I think she could have fun with it. And I think the Kelseys would be okay with it.
I just feel with Taylor, like, the real takeaway I feel like is I don't think she was ever really an Eagles fan. Like, I think
she's probably not like a huge sports fan.
Yeah, I just don't think she really cared.
I don't think she lived and died with the team.
And I think that's why, look, her boyfriend's on the team. That's fine. You can root for the team.
Probably fiance.
But like, who knows? Yeah. I definitely feel like hers is a little more like, because you did grow up here and you're like Jason grew up here. He just played for the
Right.
team and all that, you know?
Right.
So like, it's not like his whole life, like Jason was a freaking Browns fan or whatever.
Yeah,
you know? He's
exactly.
like, you know, so like, what are we doing
Yeah,
here?
they're, I mean, yeah, Cleveland sports fans,
Literally,
Cavs fans.
he is.
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
an Indians
Yeah.
fan growing up. He's talked about that a bunch.
Right.
So it's like, it's not that like you're born with it, ingrained in it, and you grow up with it, and your whole family is it. You know, so
Right.
like his whole family's Chiefs fans right now. I'll bet. You know, obviously.
Well, what's crazy is all of like to the Taylor Swift, like her parents like wear Chiefs stuff at the game.
Yeah,
which is
you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I think it's okay for him to root for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I do
Like,
too. I do
it's
too.
Perfectly acceptable.
All right, let's get to final thoughts.
All right. So I have what I feel like is something that needs to be fixed, but I'm not sure what the solution is. Well, I think I know what the solution is, but it's impossible to do. So it's pretty crazy the system we still have to collect trash is just someone drives around and picks it up. I feel like there should be another step in this. Now, I think the best one would be if we had like a chute in all of our houses and you dropped it down, right? And there was a big underground system of trash. Like, but that's not going to happen. So I just feel like there has to be a better way to get trash collected than have someone drive around and pick it up. I don't know what it is. I don't want to have to like drive it to a junkyard. So I'm appreciative we have somebody come around and pick it up. But I feel like there has to be a better way.
Maybe there is. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Technologically speaking, I think there are places where it's automated and the like this like hook comes and just grabs the thing and throws it.
Really? Wow.
That's what they do in my neighborhood.
Yeah. There are places that have
Well, but that means but someone still drives around and picks
Someone
it up.
still
Still
drives.
a truck,
Yeah,
but it's like
exactly.
automatic.
But it's
You don't have the guys
automatic.
hanging
There's
off
not
the
a guy
back.
getting out,
Right.
throwing bags in and all that stuff. Like, I don't know what other than a driverless car, like, I don't know and also I'm not trying to take jobs away from people.
Right.
But I don't really know. I get your point. In the city, I think it's harder to come up with another solution because every street's so different. There's little side streets and this and that and all that. Like, it's like I don't think you just have the same technology or plan that can just drive through a neighborhood and just, you know, trash, as opposed to like, all right, you gotta go left, you go right, this, that, like whatever, you know, or like, oh, I gotta go down that street, but I gotta actually stop at the end of the street and walk down and pick up the trash because there's no way out of it. Like, you know what I mean? I think there's too many different scenarios.
So what I'm saying is I think there should be like, I agree with you in the city. I'm not saying it should be like a driverless car. I'm saying there should be a way where it's like we do it within our own house almost.
Like you
just
could
drop
stick it in a chute.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That'd be impossible to do. I acknowledge.
You really
Yeah.
you want technology to be far
It would just be
advanced from where
impossible
it
to
is.
do now. But I'm saying if we rebuilt a society, I think the best
You
way to
would
do it
build
would be an
trash chutes
underground,
in.
an underground system where you just dropped it down. Yeah, that's I think would be the best outcome.
I
Now,
don't think that so you're gonna live on top of a trash heap, but I mean, like, I don't think there's any like you'd have to have underground chutes.
that's what I'm
that
saying.
take
Yeah,
it
and
somewhere.
tunnels, and it like filters over. Like it would be a
This would be the biggest waste of money for something that is just a pure little convenience.
I'm just saying it would be a better system. Like if
Okay.
it was unlimited budget and you're building
Sure,
like remember
yes,
the
I
game
would love to
Sims?
not have to take my trash out.
Right. Remember Sims? Like I feel like
See,
if you
you're
were
just talking
rebuilding a
about-
society, that
I
would
think
be
they have
better.
that at Disney World.
You're just talking about ideological nonsense.
They have what
here.
at Disney World?
Like all the trash cans are hooked up to like one central location.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's
something
they
like
have
that.
Hotels that can have a chute that you put.
Or maybe it's like at every corner, there's like, I don't know. I just feel like there should be another advance.
I'd rather not go to the corner when I can just go out to my front step.
It's fair.
You know,
It's fair.
I get it. I think you're asking a lot.
Yeah. Well, as I said, it's a big ask. I just don't, I'm not even saying I knew what the solution was, but I do think that it's the next thing we need to take an advance on.
All right. Couple things here.
All right.
First, I would like to give a shout out to an Eagles fan down in enemy territory. Our guy Ezra. Shout out to Ezra. Awesome stuff rooting for the Birds down there.
All right.
As our guy Eric. We love Eric too. So
Always.
shout out to Eric and Ezra. Eric, a Washington fan. Feels good. Feels good winning
So
that
Washington
one.
fan.
He's on board with the Philadelphia Bulldogs, but his son Ezra, a go-to Birds fan. So shout out to Ezra. Love you, buddy. And then here's my final thought. Remember I told you like a week ago, do you want the one about bags or the one about clothes? And you said bags. I'm going to go to the one about clothes, which is really not just about clothes. It's really about inanimate objects.
Okay.
And I'm bearing myself here. Put my soul out there because I'm going to guess that this is not something that other people do. Do you ever get like irrationally mad at inanimate objects? Like,
Of course.
okay. So like I will yell at my clothing. Like if I'm going
I
to
don't
take
do
off my
that.
clothes and it's like, you know, like sometimes and you want to pull it off, but sometimes it gets stuck and it pulls through, whatever. Like if I'm trying to not do that and it does it, like what the bleep is wrong with you? Like, why? Like, and I will actually actively get mad at my clothes. I will get mad at a door if it doesn't close when I want it to. Like, I will punch the door. Like, I treat inanimate objects very poorly if they don't do what I want them to do.
Which is crazy because they're doing exactly what you make them do in a way. You know, like they're not moving.
Don't you dare say that.
Right.
No, it didn't have to fold in. It could have done a better job not folding it.
So I won't do that, but I will, like, if I'm already in a frustrated mood and something doesn't work, like, it will set me over the edge. Where I'm like, I cannot believe this little stupid thing is not working.
Definitely happens.
Right. Now I don't like punch it and yell at it, but
I will punch it sometimes. It depends on what the thing is. I won't hurt myself.
Like, you could hurt your hand.
Yeah, I'm not punching walls or whatever, but like I will like give a little like, damn, like what's wrong with you? Like,
no, it's definitely one of those things that sets me over the edge.
Yeah. I do not handle inanimate objects not doing what I want them to.
Like, one thing I'm currently dealing with from a clothes perspective, this might be. So when I'm in the gym and I'm getting changed afterwards, right? Like, I take my towel off, I put my pants on. So there's like 2 or 3 seconds where I'm like, I really want to put my pants on, right? And every single time my foot gets caught in it. And so I'm like kind of like bobbing around. It's just, yeah. And I feel like in that instance,
it drives me crazy.
You would yell at the pants.
When I wear my long johns, and sometimes like I go to pull them off and then they'll get stuck on my foot and then I have to like push it off.
Yeah.
And I get
You're
really
big long
mad.
johns guy.
I love.
I don't know anyone that loves long johns.
Love
like
them.
You do.
Love them.
They are practical.
I don't like being cold.
Yeah.
Super easy.
I just think I'd get hot, but I think I'd rather be hot than cold, I guess.
All right. I have so many final thoughts. I'm so excited to get to them.
Well, I feel like next week I'll have like 1 billion a day.
I have so many.
Yeah.
I'm like loaded up on them. I almost did 2, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, save them. We got a bunch more days.
More days.
Yes.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Brandon leaked out.
Yes.
In the house.
Where are we going to put him, by the way? I guess here?
Buddy.
We'll put him in the middle.
It's Tucker's job.
No, I know.
I'm
just thinking of the.
Go in the corner.
I can go in the corner.
I'll go in the middle. You'll be
in
there.
the corner.
Just
It'll
thinking
look
how
funny.
it'll look.
It'll be a little big,
Exactly,
little,
right.
You know, it'll be good. But yeah, so we'll Brandon in. May have a take you guys aren't gonna like. We're gonna find out, but we'll all give him the business in that case. It's gonna be awesome to have Brandon back full circle. You know, having him in the preseason, they go on this run. It'll be nice to have Brandon back one more time before the end of the season. And then Saturday 1 to 3, normal show, park show. Last one in person with Elliot.
Yeah,
heads to New Orleans.
Off I go.
And then obviously, Sunday 5:00 on Sunday. We're gonna be Elliot's traveling, all that stuff. So the pod will be at 5:00 on Sunday. We'll tweet it out, stuff like that. But just to give you
Eagles will arrive.
What the schedule is as we continue to do pods every day. Every day. Tomorrow's day 26.
Crazy.
Wonder what that one's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
Feels like a pretty easy one to pick
Carrie
for tomorrow.
Williams. Yeah.
Nailed it. Any other fun 25s before we go? You said you had forgot to get to it.
Lorenzo Booker was the last.
Wow. How about that?
That was
Reno
the last
Mahe.
one before.
Reno Mahe, that jives.
So LaShawn McCoy only played 5 years here, which is
Really? That
unbelievable
seems
to
crazy
see,
to
like
think about.
in writing.
Wow.
Dorsey Levens.
Dorsey Levens.
Dorsey
yes.
Levens.
So Alan Rossum
I remember Alan Rossum. He was
went on to have a
nice
good
career.
year with the
Yeah,
Falcons.
he was a good punt
Yeah.
returner, right?
Washington, I think, for a little bit.
Falcons, I think.
25, I think, should be retired. But like, 25 is such an elite number to retire. It's you got to really be a special player.
And Tommy McDonald.
Yeah.
In honor of Ray Dittinger.
Which is pretty. I mean, a tough beat for Tom McDonald.
I know.
You know. They retired it for Shady. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
You guys in the Hall of Fame. But no big deal.
And I don't think Shady will make it. Right?
No.
Yeah.
Shady's not
right.
even in the hemisphere.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. You think he's in the hemisphere?
I think he makes the Hall of Fame.
You think LaShawn McCoy makes
What?
the Hall of Fame?
You think LaShawn McCoy's gonna be? He's like.
I'm excited to hear this because I thought I was more on
He's like 30th.
He was the all-decade team of 2010s.
Bro, here.
He's a 2-time first-team All-Pro. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler.
Leaders.
He has 2 Super Bowl
He's got
rings.
11,000 yards.
He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. Where
Yeah.
he's inactive.
Has 2
for
rings.
Yeah.
I
think he's a little closer than you do.
I think he's got he's 23rd all time. Better than I thought. But
leading
still.
this franchise in rushing, I feel like that matters.
23rd all time was higher than I expected, but still,
I think he's more of a peak
guy
guy than
Steven
an
Jackson
accumulator.
and Fred Taylor and like other guys who aren't going to get in. You know,
So I don't think he'll get in either, but
he's higher than I thought he was. Though,
yeah, I think he had like.
I don't think he's getting in. He's not getting in.
I agree, he won't.
I
get
feel
in.
very confident.
I don't think he
you
will.
just don't take that many running backs.
But the
anyway.
all-decade team thing is pretty intriguing.
I think it's more an issue of he was the running back when no one was running. You know, what I mean? It was like that wasn't the game. Like I think Derrick Henry is the only running back right now who I think is a stone cold mortal lock.
I mean, I think Saquon's.
I think look,
Yeah,
Saquon
yeah.
has a chance.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
What happens these next couple of years? But all right, We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, he's Item James.